Hello Cara crew. We're here to show you how to change an impeller on the generator. If the generator runs for a little while and then shuts off, it's probably overheating, and it's probably overheating because the impeller is bad. This is a bad impeller. This is a good one. We're going to show you how to replace those. The first thing you have to do is, down in the engine compartment, you remove this shroud. There's a screw here, a wing nut over on this side, and one over on this side that needs to be removed. With the shroud removed, you can see the impeller pump right here. You remove these two bolts. There are nuts and washers on the bottom which are easy to lose track of, so be careful. When you reassemble it, this is how you set the tension. You got to pull this belt tight so there's only about a ½ inch of slack, and it's important that you get it aligned properly. You can tighten this up with that pulley crooked and you'll throw a belt or burn the belt out fast. So make sure you, when you reassemble it, that you get it tight and properly aligned. Here we see the back of the impeller. We will remove these 6 screws. When you remove the back of the impeller, there are alignment pins here and here when you replace the lid. And notice that there is a delicate paper gasket that aligns on those pins. When you replace that, please be very careful not to tear it. I don't know that we have a spare on the boat right now. This impeller is in good shape. Notice that the fins are kind of in different directions. Don't worry about that. As it spins around, they kind of orient themselves. Because this impeller is in good place, because this impeller is in good shape, I'm not going to replace it. But in order to replace it, you would just pull a straight one out, then align the key notch. You see this notch? You align that notch with the key on the shaft and slide the new one in and press all the vanes out of the way. Assembly is just the opposite of disassembly. While you have the shroud off, this is a good time to check the self-sacrificing anode. The purpose of these anodes is to slowly corrode so that the lake water doesn't corrode parts in the engine. You'll need a 9/16 inch wrench to remove this. I've already partially removed it. And it's a good thing we check it because this one is broken. So it's not doing us any good. This is what a new one looks like. So we just need to make sure that we have a little thread dope. We'll thread that back in there and tighten it all back together. Teflon tape will work just fine. That broken piece needs to be fished out. Any other small pieces, there is a plate here on the end. Again, a 9/16 inch wrench we'll get that loosened up. Need to remove that plate, and then with a piece of wire or something with your fingers, try to fish the broken pieces of the anode out of this section. It's difficult, but it needs to be done. Changing these anodes is not something that one of the partners needs to do on a regular basis. It's something that maintenance crew should check, but it does say that we want to check this every month, and that's not a bad idea. Both times I've been down here, 2 different years, that anode was broken off, and therefore it's not doing us any good. So we need to make sure we check it. When tightening the nuts on the back of the impeller, use a star pattern just like you would putting the rim on an automobile. Tighten them snug, but be careful not to over tighten them. They are in a brass fitting and it's possible to strip them out. Just a quick word about using Teflon tape or pipe dope on the threads of the anode. I googled this and did some research, and it is an urban myth that you should not use Teflon tape or pipe dope. Those items simply fill the microscopic gaps between the metal to keep them from leaking. They do not prevent metal to metal contact. So do use the Teflon tape. It makes it easier to remove the old parts when we need to, and it helps keep things watertight. We're reassembling now, and it's important that we get this belt tight. I have an assistant, my buddy Jay. Smile, Jay. Holding that, he's putting pressure against that bolt before I tighten things down to make sure we have the belt tight. and that I'm going to double check and make sure everything is aligned properly. We have things aligned and adjusted properly, and we only have about a 1/2 inch of slack. And there you have it. One changed impeller, and we changed out the self-sacrificing anode. Just a note, we had so much difficulty getting that wing nut out that we opened the slot all the way to the edge. So don't remove it completely. Just loosen it up, and then the wing nut will slide out of that slot. Thanks, crew. Good luck.